It is page number 331. So we see that in the life cycle of lac insect, the egg laying will be on the trunks of the tree. And egg laying, hatching, larvae, and after the larva stage, pupa and adult female and the male is shown in the life cycle as such. So when we discuss in detail, you will know about the stages. So we see in the life cycle of the lac insect, the nymph will be of the crimson red color, boat-shaped body, size of 0.5 mm, and they are crawling on the tree trunks, and they live in they will be flying as a little bit swarming like groups like them. We will see the emergence of lac insect in huge numbers on the tree trunks. So male, after they achieve the adult stages, the male will be red in color and the size will increase up to 1.2 to 1.5 mm. Eyes reduced, mouth parts will be absent, and one pair of hyaline wing will be present. If we see the female body, like this it will be. The male body is like this. So the nymph, male and female. And the female body, it is pyriform body with the spherical proboscis and anus, simple body. Size of 4 to 5 mm. Antennae are not present, they are degenerated. Eyes absent, mouth part will be piercing and sucking type, like mosquito. So posterior to mouth lie a pair of spiracles, which are helpful for breathing. Wings, there are no wings we see, and the legs are also degenerated form. So no, we are seeing only the mouth parts in this particular female. All are degenerated, antennae, wings and legs. Coming to the introduction, what is a lac? Lac is a protective resinous substance secreted by the abdominal gland of the lac insect. So that is secreted by this particular insect on the branches, trunks. So the lac insect, Tacridia lacca or Keria lacca, are tiny lac producing scale insect. In India, two strains of lac insects are recognized, namely Kusumi and Rangini. These are the common names, like the people who collect them will be always keeping the common names. So they live on several species of host plant like mango, fig, peepal, and teak, oak. These trees, mostly they'll select to live. They insert their beak into the plant tissue and feed on the plant sap. They reside inside the resinous covering called lac cell. Males are winged and actively moving and has no significant role in the lac production. Females are the ones are wingless and inactive in nature, and much of the lac is secreted by them. So the eggs develop into nymphs and they feed on the plant sap to grow in size in course of time. There is some net problem. Okay. So now they insert their beak into the plant tissue and feed on the plant sap. So these unmovable female insects, they will be covering inside this lac cell and they will be living there only, taking the feed of the plant. Males are winged and actively moving and has no significant role in the lac production. Females are wingless and inactive in nature, so much of the lac is secreted by them. So eggs develop into nymphs and they feed on the plant sap, grow in size, and course of time they secrete the lac. In this particular life cycle, lac complete in 6 to 8 weeks. So lac cultivation involves 3 major steps: selection and preparation of host plants, inoculation of lac insects, and harvesting of lac insects. So these are the 3 steps involved in the lac cultivation. So first thing is selection of the host plant. It is the most important step in the lac culture because quality of lac depends on a variety of host plant. So the lac insect does not have a specificity to particular host plant, but lac cultivation can begin when host plant attain the optimum growth and the size. Then only we can make them to grow on that particular trees. Initial preparation of host tree for lac culture involves pruning. Pruning means cutting away old, weak and diseased branches to inducing tree to produce maximum number of new shoots. And then inoculation. Inoculation is a method by which lac insects or its young ones are introduced to a host tree and properly associated with its succulent branches. Inoculation are of 2 types: natural inoculation and artificial inoculation. So the natural inoculation, when infection from one plant to the other occur by natural movement of the insects. So in forests, we see this particular type. Like naturally, the tribal people will go and collect this particular type of the available lac on whatever tree, whichever tree they find this particular growth of the lac. So we say that it is a natural inoculation. Natural inoculation occurs due to the overcrowding of insect populations and inavailability of the tender shoots. So the quality also varies. In artificial inoculation, the host trees are pruned, they have taken care. When the new branches attain desirable growth, small cutting lac encrusted twigs are taken from the donor tree, and these are the seeds of lac cultivation, and they are soon tied to the succulent branches of the pruned tree. So we will be, if one quality of lac is good, then that can be used it as a seed, and that particular branch will be again tied and inoculated to that plant to grow the number of multiplication of that particular insects on that new host and to produce the lac. So this is the method of artificial inoculation, where we will take some part of the succulent branches of the pruned tree and tie to the new one. So the collection of lac from host tree for commercial uses is called lac harvesting. There are 2 kinds of harvesting: immature and mature harvesting. In immature, lac harvested before the larval swarming, and in mature, after they die. So the lac that remains attached to the twigs of the host tree is called brood lac. It is then scraped out, cleared from impurities, washed, crushed, and powdered into seed or the grain lac. So these types of immature and mature harvestings, two types are involved in this particular harvesting. I'm a little bit fast, or it's okay?
No,
Nobody?
fast, ma'am. Continue.
Okay. So the grain lac is then melted on charcoal with arsenic sulfate to form a impure lac called kirillac. So there are how the production, the care taken by the particular farmer in that production. So it depends on the species also, and also the host plant which has been selected. So there are types of different varieties of lac we are seeing. The clear filtrate is cooled and solidified to form a pure lac. A pure lac is then made into thin sheets called sheet lac. This chemically it will be processed, and that pure lac is called shellac. So as it is, the how much the refined it is becoming, we will be naming and using that particular lac in different forms. So the uses of lac, because of its versatile resinous nature, it is widely used in various commercial purposes, used in paints, polishes, varnishes, and finishes, used in thermoplastic molding, material sealing, waxes, electrical insulating materials, lithographic ink, photographic records, in pottery, toys making, in manufacturing glazed paper, optical frames, and crayons. So these are all we see as an different forms. Like when it comes to the importance, it's we can also call it as lac is the commonly known commercial resin of animal origin. So the lac insects yields natural polymer made of hydroxy fatty acids. Principally, it consists of alluritic acid and trihydroxyhexidodecanoic acid, hydroxy terpenic acids, and erythrolaxin lacic acid, and lac wax, that is of benzene extract of Silkworm extracted with the alcohol. So as we go on and see the study of this particular lac, we find different varieties are being prepared using the different host plants, and we cannot deny that. So this figure also shows so many types of, not much variety, but even though there are some varieties we are finding. So this is a shellac made from the resins. Coming to your book, it has been given in the page number 334. Is it okay for all? So we see here that lac nymph is the first form what we are seeing. lac male adult, lac female adult, and the lac female young adult, male cell, female cell, and as we said, female cell and adult mature. So here he has been talking about the lac cultivation. Here also he has discussed that lac cultivation can be carried out in forests or when we have a huge lands. So the third step is step and operation of the culture and inoculation. So in kusumi trees, for raising the JV crop, prefer to inoculate the trees with brood. As we have discussed, there are two types of lac. So in page number 335 in your books, how much the steps to pruning is done, pruning important in order to get the how far of good, healthy and succulent shoots. So after that, when pruning is also done, it is better to follow the other things, and inoculation is also given. And inoculation, as we said, is of two types, natural and the artificial ones. So how it can be done is given here. Remove the leaves and unwanted portion, cut the lac sticks, all that. So the procedure to be followed for the inoculation is also given. As we have discussed in the PowerPoint is about how the artificial inoculation and the majorly how it can be done artificially. So here he has given the Rangini, Kusumi. These are the two different crop lacs, and they have given the when they are comfortably we can collect from them, and they also be active in reproduction. Next, removal of unwanted plants, and then harvesting. So when we discuss about the host plants, we have many host plants. So here in the host plants also, he has given which of them are more. Here enemy is also given, the white enemy moth and the black enemy moths. They will destroy the production of the lac. on different trees. As such, we also see the predators on this. So uses of shellac, all we have been given like page number 344. How the shellac is used for enamel ware, sealing wax, jewelry, gasket. Everywhere its usage is seen in the bedrooms, kitchen and everywhere. So here he has given even the various products of lac, like it possesses the alluritic acid. So various products of lac when we see here, in the page number 345, we see of the alluritic acid, bleached lac, gasket shellac compound, air drying and baking type of insulating varnish, and melpholac, lac dye, sealing wax, ISO amridicide, refinishing of the lac to prepare the shellac. So the environment will be of playing the important role in the ecological balance. So here we see, even though if we are doing the artificial inoculation, as such, naturally also we see in forests this particular cultivation of lac. So nowadays it has been given an importance in so many things for the preparation purpose. Majorly, all the buildings are with the mirror coatings. So there the usage is more. Shall I move on to the honeybee? Honeybee. What are the types of honeybee mouth parts? Anybody remember? One minute, I'll put the PDF.
Chewing and lapping.
In the page number 305 in your books, we come across this honeybee, study of honeybee. So it's a very interesting thing of studying this particular insect. Today, the word apiculture comes from the Latin word apis, meaning bee. So apiculture means beekeeping is the care and management of the honeybees for the production of honey and wax. So honeybees are the social insects. They live in colonies. They exhibit teamwork and division of labor. They feed on the pollen or nectar of the flowers. As we know, these are the general things, but we discuss about the life cycle. Usually, the honeybees collect the nectar from various flowers with the whatever the chewing and lapping type of mouth parts they have. The location where bees are kept is called apiary, and the scientific study of honeybee is known as an apiology. So when we see them under the classification, the beekeeper or the apiarist keep bees in order to collect their honey and other products like bee wax and bee pollen and the royal jelly, and to pollinate the crops or to produce bees for sale to other beekeepers. And they belong to the order Arthropoda, class Insecta, order Hymenoptera, family Epidae, genus is Apis, and the species where there are Dorsetta, Mellifera. There are many types of species we see come across them. The main two the beekeeping in India, we see the species of Apis dorsata and Epifloria and Mellifera. Three are the usually we see come across. Apis mellifera, Apis dorsata, Apis florea. And when we see the types of honeybees also, they are of three types living in the one colony. One are the drones, the other are the queen bee, and one are the workers. So drone means it's a male, and queen means it's a female. And the one who collects the honey and built this particular type of bee comb, honeycomb, is the worker. The worker is the one who is doing all the work to collect the honey or to pollinate. Everything is done by the worker. And when we come to the queen bee, only one queen bee will be there in one beehive. Each hive will have one queen bee, who is the only reproductive individual in the colony. So if a queen is not performing well, if she is not laying enough eggs, the colony may decide to replace her with a new queen, and this is as an supersedure. So each hive will have like that of with one queen bee, and it is of if it is replaced, we'll call it as an supersedure. To mate with drone, produce eggs to begin new colony with through swarming is the role of the queen bee. So if it is not doing and unable to do the job, it will be replaced. And the queen bee is the one who is fed with royal jelly. Always. That is a main important source of feed for the queen bee. So the queen can survive up to 5 years, and it's fed on usually royal jelly only. And queens control their workers by releasing pheromones known as the queen's scent, and get fertilized only once in her lifetime, where drone release the course of sperms. So it is a male bee. About 10 to 20 drones will mate with a queen during a mating flight, and the drone have much larger eye, which is their distinguished factor. Role of the drone bee, a primary focus for the drone is to mate with queen, but the drone will die after mating. So the drone lifespan is very less comparing to the all other who are living in that particular colony. Like drones, workers, and queen bee, drones will have the lifespan very less. After mating with the queen, it will die. And drones is the male member of the colony, male member of the honeybee colony, which fertilizes the queen, so called as the king of the colony, developed parthenogenetically from the unfertilized eggs. So who are becoming the workers, who are becoming the drones, is depend upon the fertilization of the egg. So from unfertilized eggs, parthenogenetically, these drones will be coming out from the beehive. So they take 24 days to develop from the egg to the adult stage. And they are 500 to 1,000 in number. Large eyes, reduced mouth parts, powerful wings. The sting and the wax glands are absent. In the males, the reproductive organs are very well developed. Coming to the worker bees, these worker bees are all females. They do not have same abilities as the queen, but order to do these all the jobs like housekeeping, young worker bee take caring, cleaning cell, nursing the worker bees, attending to the queen bee, collecting nectar for the hive, guarding the hive, and becoming the field bees. So all these are the works done by the workers. So worker honeybees are provided by special structures for different work. So we see even in the appendages, they'll have a pollen basket like long proboscis, pollen basket in the appendages, strong wings, powerful sting, and also the wax glands. So the species of honeybee are of indigenous varieties and exotic varieties like Apis indica, Apis dorsata, Apis florea, and exotic of Apis mellifera and Apis adamsoni. So how we can differentiate the different types of honeybees is one which is of very largest honeybee is Apis dorsata and build single large open comb on high branches of trees and rocks and produces large quantity of honey. But this bee is difficult to domesticate. So Apis serena indica is medium sized. Hive consists of several parallel combs to cavities of tree trunks and earthen pots, etc. This bee is not ferocious and can be domesticated. Apis florea is a little bee, small size, build single small combs in bushes, hedges, etc. Honey yield is poor. Apis mellifera is an Europe bee and somewhat look like the Indian bee. And the bee has been introduced in many parts of the world, including the India. It can be domesticated. So honeybee must visit between 100 to 1500 flowers in order to fill their honey stomach. The bee return to the hive and pass the nectar. And young bee are responsible for receiving honeybee from the foraging bee. If they do not enough worker bee is available in the hive, they will perform a special dance in front of other worker bee. This dance is known as a tremble dance or the wriggle dance. The worker bees chew the nectar for about half an hour. The worker bees chew the nectar for about half an hour. During this time, enzymes are breaking the complex sugar into simple sugars. So wriggle dance also is the one more name to show the direction of the flowers availability to indicate the other worker bees who are in the beehive, the distance where they are present to collect the nectar, and all that are shown in the sign language of this wriggle dance.
Ma'am, in worker base there are all are females only, no ma'am?
In worker, females.
Only females.
Only females.
Okay.
Or drones are males. They don't do any work. Just to mate with the queen. If they don't meet also, they don't mate also, they'll die within the lifespan of the drones is very less. And they also develop with the parthenogenesis without any fertilization. These are all the points regarding the drones we have to write. Like in your book, I'm searching, like where we can, like the page number 308. They are given some Apis florea, Apis dorsata, and Apis mellifera. So you can read about that, like 323 to 365 days. You remember our day, 1 year days. So those many eggs it will lay in all the honeybee comb. This particular queen. And legs also, there is structural adaptations. 310 page, this has been given. How different they are to make the honeycomb with the wax, production of the wax glands, with the wax glands present in the worker bee, and how they will collect the pollen in these particularly made hind legs pollen basket. And hind leg, that is. So here we can see everything in detail. And coming to the bee colony, page number 315, queen bee is called the mother of colony. All that is like whatever I said is given, and the royal jelly is feed of that particular queen bee. No other bee will touch to eat that particular royal jelly, which is stored in the honeycomb. And drones, about the drones also given, workers also been given. After reading the PDF, you underline the important points in this particular book also, which is given for you.
Ma'am, how the drones form?
Which one?
How the drones will be formed?
Formed. Drones, the queen will lay the eggs in the honeycomb. Okay? 365 eggs. Then it will, the male will lay the sperms. Drones will lay the sperms on them. They'll get fertilized. And from the fertilized ones, worker bees are born. From the unfertilized eggs, drones are born. Okay? Parthenogenesis, we'll call it as. Without any fertilization, if something is forming, we'll call it as a parthenogenesis. Is it okay? Understood?
Yes,
They'll
ma'am.
die within days, but they have the more lifespan, years. These workers. Even queen bee also, it is, if any in the group, if any of the one can become the queen from the workers. When that is also, if that particular already queen bee is helpless in condition, then from this worker bees, one will be fed with the royal jelly. Then that will become the queen bee. Then it should mate with the drones and lay the eggs and continue the cycle. Social behavior of honeybees means they are moving the groups, swarming, and division of labor is nice in them because the duties are meant to each and everyone separately. The duties are allotted.
What is swarming, ma'am?
Swarming means moving in groups. You will see the honeybees in groups only, no? usually. Swarming, we'll call it, as moving in the groups. Particularly, we see 1 or 2 honeybees here and there, but usually they move as in groups. Have you seen? If you touch the honeycomb, how they'll come out and move in the group?
Attack in a group also.
Attack in group. When they want to attack a person who has touched the honeycomb also, they'll go and attack that person in a group only. Communication is very good in them, like wagtail dance they'll do to communicate how far the flower garden is present to collect the honey. That is communication. Chemical communication means the bees exhibit extraordinary communication capabilities through intricate chemicals for rapid and effective colony. So these are the pheromones or some communication between them, or the chemical releases which keep them communicated well between them, and they'll be helping out in each and every part of the role they play by the others also. So that is about the chemical communication and the communication what they keep with others. So beekeeping is about the beehives, how they are placed. It is given in an Langstroth beehive. So he has given the page number 321, how the bosses are kept and in the apiary to cultivate this particular honeybees, and how they'll keep the brood chambers and brood frames. Yeah, this is first done in the UP, Year-Zoology-Course-8, where these bee space homes are maintained. Coming to the appliances in beekeeping means the protective wearing or queen excluder or the entrance guard. So what are the equipment appliances we need is protective wearing, one major thing, because one sting also requires a lot of money. And we also see the appliances like queen excluder, queen cell protector, queen's cage, bee escape, drone trap, uncapping the knife. Coming to the everything bee escape is in funnel shape defeated on the inner board, so that they can, if they go also, they can come back. Like drone traps are there. Uncapping the knife, honey extractor. These are all the appliances of the beekeeping. And coming to the diseases, brood disease of difficult control. We'll talk about the diseases. So to control the diseases, we find a lot of variations like honeybee diseases, of brood diseases, diseases of adult honeybees, and how they can be affected during the apiary maintenance. And this brood disease is American foul brood, European foul brood, diseases of adult bees, saccharine disease, symptoms, large number of crawling bees in front of the eye. Strip method. Strip method no need. Methyl salicylate is also we don't use. Like we have heard about the bee wax. You have heard, I think, but bee venom is reported to the effective against the rheumatism, cardiovascular diseases, and various diseases, various disorders of the nervous system. So, bee venom is also causing lot of effective against the. So, hope for the best is. So, okay. I'm seeing the summary. You can even study the summary to write down about the anything, like in just summary is also good. Oops. We have completed two Shall we move on to the silkworm diseases? Do you have a books in front of you to take the diseases?
Yes, ma'am.
So, in the grassery is okay. In bacteria, in bacterial disease,
Page number.
two are there: flagellum and septicemia. While writing, you cut short the only the symptoms which we can be able to identify by seeing the silkworm.
Ma'am, page number.
Page number 292. Flagellum disease. Bacterial flagellum. So in this we find the shrinking after molting, shrinking disease. The body of the larvae only shrinks and it causes diarrhea. And vomiting. Okay. And how to control. So the incubation is take some of the important points in this particular flagellum. Like as the sterilizing effect of the digestive fluids weaken, the bacteria devoured together with the mulberry leaves multiply in write down the third para. The symptoms are not always uniform or vary according to the occurrence. So that part you can write it, the symptoms and these whatever like diarrhea, shrinking, vomiting. These are the symptoms what we see in them during the course of the disease. And control. One disease you will write for each thing. One disease you will write for each thing. Viral one, bacterial one. Viral, we will write about the grassery. Take the like the color changes from light yellow to in the hemolymph color. Clear and turbid. Actually, the healthy worm and the diseased worm can be identified with the touch only. The silk and softness of the silkworm will be, you will lose that particular thing when it prone to any disease. Yeah, either it may be a bacterial or viral or fungal. So the healthy, warm touch of the skin will be different to the disease-prone worm. In the fungal white mustard green, we'll write about this part of muscadine diseases like green, yellow, red, and purplish. There are many types like white, green, and all. But we'll write about the green muscadine disease of Metarhizium anispolia. Belonging to the fungi imperfecti. Belongs to the fungi imperfecti. 4 to 5 days of infection, loss of appetite, sick, yellowish color of the skin. Usually the rigidness comes in the body of the worm whenever it is prone to either bacterial or fungal or anything. The rigidness is the cause of the disease. The body of the worm will become rigid. And one more pest, this one will come in the 4 marks. That is a pest of silkworm, oozy fly. My research work is on this particular pest only. This particular pest, oozy fly, also whatever means we will be taking care of, like closing every nook and corner of the rearing room. This particular pest will come and lay the eggs on the body of the 3rd and 4th instars of the silkworm. So when it lays the eggs, we cannot identify on these hundreds of silkworm on whom it has been laid the egg. So it will deposit one egg or 2 eggs on each silkworm and it fly off. So that worm we cannot identify as if when it lays the eggs. What happens after the 5th instar? They'll stop taking feed and they'll be start oozing the silk. So they'll be oozing the silk and forming the cocoon. This egg comes to maggot and that maggot grows inside the cocoon. Whatever the reeling is being done with the silkworm, done by the silkworm. So when the silkworm cocoon is ready, inside the body of the silkworm, this pest also grow and breaks the silkworm and come out. Breaks the cocoon and comes out. So that causes the heavy loss to the farmer. This oozy fly pest. Are you listening?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
This oozy pest causes, usually it was very heavy in the Telangana region, but now we don't find in Telangana region this particular pest, but now it is in like Anantapur, there near the rearing units, we find this pest mostly. So whatever means we hide with the nets and everything, whenever one either man is coming out of the and going out of the door also, it takes that particular chance and come into the room and lay the eggs and go. So that causes heavy loss to the, like how it comes into our housefly comes into our house, like that. In the same way, the look of the fly also little bit similar only, like our housefly only, but it is little bit larger in size, and the abdomen region will have 3 dark lines on the body. Variation will be there, but like in the same way how the housefly comes into our house, same way it enters into the rearing rooms, and as shown in the figure. It is shown in the figure, no? In the same way it lays the egg. And wherever it lays the egg, after some time, it will become a black color scar. Because it's an 5th stage and oozing out the silk, we cannot easily identify that scar also because of that silk on the body of the silkworm. As it is, the cocoon formation also completes. After we take them to the market for reeling, then that time this also completes the inside the development, and it breaks open the cocoon and comes out. So if once it breaks anywhere, that silk will be not fit for the continuous reeling.
Why it lays on only silkworms, ma'am?
It is a silkworm pest. We have identified it as a silkworm pest. Only that, not even feed also it will not take. At least it will not feed also. Just to lay the eggs, it will come and attack and go.
Great, ma'am.
Like that, it happens, this one. So it smell with that 3rd, 4th instars rearing smell, your rearing unit smell, it will come, attack, lay the eggs and go. That also 300 eggs it will lay. If immediately we see and catch with the net and control it, it's okay. Otherwise, it will be nicely moving in the rearing unit and lay the eggs up to 300 worms or 200 worms, like that. It will lay the egg and go. So the adult will be of like 10 to 14 days of life cycle will be there. Again, oozy fly means again its life cycle is different and everything will be different. So don't bother about the life cycle. As such, every life cycle will be of same: egg, maggot, pupa and adult. Here you should write like whatever is given in your books, like it is of female firefly lays eggs on the body of the 5th or the 4th instar silkworms. And above that only, when it oozes out the silk and form the cocoon, we are unable to identify that particular pest. And after that only, we will know that this is about the silkworm pest. Gray stripes, prominent black and gray stripes. And it will be lay the glossy small oval eggs. And it lays up to 300 eggs. And black spot is, or the scar is seen on the body where it lays the eggs. We see with the mirror, convex mirror. Then that maggot will grow inside the body of the silkworm. And after completion of the 3 stages, it comes out, breaking the cocoon. In the meanwhile, the silkworm also oozes out the silk and it will also die. And the one more pest, I think. So uses of silk means all that we can write it. Traditionally means traditional way of silk reeling will be there earlier, like how Gandhiji used to weave the threads on the charka. Like that, they used to boil these cocoons on in the pots, and after one thread comes out from that, they will introduce that thread to the charka and they used to spin. So any doubts you can ask, because the summary also universalism and artificial life in incubation.
Ma'am, in a reader, there is a question. Page number 303. Discuss the page number 303. Discuss the volcanism in bee moray means what we have to write now?
Volcanism. In the page number. Come back.
Ma'am, is it volcanism?
303.
283. 283 it is given. Volcanism and molting in silkworms are practically constant in each variety or the strain. See, with that, whatever we are seeing in the silkworm, that molting process, like one ant undergoing the process of molting 5 times, then it is able to form a pupal stage. So as it is going on taking the feed, and molting process will be taking in the one instar to second instar. Like that, it undergo the 5 instars. So that is the volcanism, means the molting we'll see in this particular sericulture silkworm in the sericulture process. So that we can, these characters are controlled by separate set of genes, but they are also affected by the environmental conditions and hormonal actions, and also by the other genes controlling the lifespan of the insect, especially the larval stage. So
volcanism means this only, man. Volcanism. Spelling mistake is there.
It is in like whatever the process is coming, no? Every silkworm is undergoing that. Like maternally inherited. Means bivolcanism, univolcanism, multivolcanism. We see by the temperature also sometimes this may be affected. Sometimes one of the species will be grown in once in a year only. Okay, univoltines we'll call. Okay, volcanism means it is an inherited in the genes only. It is that, like we have 9 months to give the birth, isn't it? So every 9 months, after the 10 months only, we are able to give the birth to the another child. There is a gap, isn't it? 9 months. Like that, in the same way, here, bivoltines means they can give the harvest for 2 years per year, two harvests. Means 2 times rearing. Understood? Univoltine means only once in a year. That is volatinism. Maternally inherited process. In the genes it is there. So we cannot rear it more times. Some are multivoltines.
Ma'am, volatinism means rearing period. Huh?
Maternally inherited genes. Genes, that process of character, it is possessing in the genes. I am able to explain you, or you have a doubt still? In the page
rearing
number
period
280.
Ma'am. Okay, got it.
That is coming from one genes to the other genes. No, it is genetical. So you cannot rear univoltine 2 times or 3 times. It is a restricted period only, it will be reared. So once in a year, if it is undergoing the process of development, it is an univoltine. Okay, bivoltines. Or multiple times we can rear means multivoltines. In the other words also, I'll see and tell, but as far as I know, this volatinism is the one which affects the development with the genes which have been inherited from one generation to the another generation. This is the definition. Okay. If any other definition which is easy and simplifically available, I'll send you. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Any more? No doubts? Class, we'll discuss about the insect pollinators, entomology of livestock, urban, medical, forensic, and aquatic. Then we'll go back, because these are very easy to prepare. Once you go through the PDF only, you can write something about that particular topic. The systems means you have to learn each and every system in detail. You have to learn the pictures. Then only you can able to write it in the exam. These, whatever you are learning, silkworm, lac, and honeybee, at least by going through the PDFs, you can write generally. Okay?
You send the PDFs in your group, ma'am.
I'll send. Yesterday's and today's.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.